Marxian philosophy to greater extent, on the one hand, derives from the laboring class. And 70-80% of any country, especially India, comes from that background. All of us are not Adanis, Ambanis and so on, who have millions and millions of dollars to spend on. So ordinary people on the one hand. On the other hand, Marxism itself drew strength from lots of biblical tradition, which talks about justice, equality, humanhood, and equality of women, men and women, and the poorest of the poor should get the priority of place in everything. So these five.
Friends, my name is Abhay Kumar, and at present I am in Patna on the bank of river Ganges, and this place is Jesuit residency. And where Father Prakash Louis is with me. Prakash Louis has spent his whole life in Bihar, where he has studied. His PhD is on left movement in central India, and his recent book on Father Stan Swami is very relevant, where he is talking about how the authoritarian state is misusing power, and it is crushing and it is suppressing the voices of the marginalized. And in that book he has not only talked about the revolutionary contribution of Father Stan Swami, but also the challenges before Indian democracy, and particularly those related to Adivasi communities. So I was just going through his book, and in Patna I requested him that he should spare some time and talk about his life and his struggle. So Father, you have agreed and you have given me time. I thank you very much.
Thank you Abhayji. Thank you for this opportunity to share some of my thoughts with you.
So the first questions I am going to ask. I come from East Champaran district of Bihar. This place is known for Gandhi's Satyagraha. In 1914, Gandhi went there, he met peasants, and historians say that that experience has transformed his life. Champaran is also the place where Christian missionaries has been working for a long time, and they have done tremendous work as far as education and health is concerned. Father Prakash Louis has also spent considerable time in Champaran, also in Shekhpura, Rohtas, Patna, Ranchi, Banaras, and also Delhi. So the first questions I will ask, that you are from Kerala?
Tamil Nadu.
You are from Tamil Nadu. So your second home is Bihar?
Bihar, Now it is the first home.
Okay, this is your first home. So please tell us about your experience, the days spent in this state.
I really am grateful to people of Bihar for having accepted me as one of them right from the beginning. As an youngster when I came, till now, 30-40 years.
Which is?
1980. From that time onwards, people have accepted me as their own. And I could go anywhere, stay with anyone, and talk to people. And I have also been mainly involved in social work, village development, social transformation, because of which I had fantastic rapport with the people of the villages, also with the activists, people who Chhatra Sangharsh Vahini, or various other people who have been working for the social transformation of Bihar as well as India. I had fantastic relationship. Nobody ever saw me as an outsider. I am more an insider. In fact, people many places call me, you have fully become a Bihari. In that sense, a proud, not a derogative like some of the other upper caste, dominant caste and urban people think, but somebody of their own. So I am very blessed to be here. And also this has helped me coming from south and living here and working with the people, living with the people. This has helped me to see reality in its totality. Not very glorious things as some people talk, or not everything is bad in Bihar as some people try to project. But I have seen the reality. I live with the people here. So I have been extremely blessed to be here, Abhayji, and that is what many a times in my writing that has come. One instance that I would give for this is this. In 2002, I wrote an article in Hindustan. Atal ji Bihari nahi ho sakte.
Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Yes,
the former Prime Minister.
Because in Gandhi Maidan, he ridiculed the people of Bihar.
Okay.
He called Bihari, very bad language he used. So that's why next day itself I wrote an article, Atal ji Bihari nahi ho sakte. Atal Bihari Vajpayee,
Yes.
Atal ji Bihari nahi. Because I gave the instances where he almost ridiculed the people of Bihar. And IPTA, Indian People's Theatres Association, used that and produced a Nukkad Natak out of it and played it in so many places. I'm saying while some people are derogatively looking at Bihar, people like me and others who have come from outside, we have become part of the people of Bihar, and we work here, we live here, we are part of, and all the staff are people from Bihar, friends like you are from Bihar. So we have grown with the culture, food, traditions, everything. So I am extremely grateful for the
So,
people.
sir, from Tamil Nadu to Bihar, when you came, there might have been many difficulties, maybe language, food, some other problems may be there. So, could you tell us how you were able to cope up with those difficult times?
Two problems. Number one, language. Number two, as you said very well, food. Nothing else I had problem. Food, but language, luckily I had little bit of Urdu background from the village where I come from in Tamil Nadu.
Which place, sir, in Tamil Nadu?
In a place called Salem, a village called Tenkarai Kotai. Very small place, very, very ordinary village. Muslims, Hindus, Christians living in harmony, and my father was a freedom fighter. So because of that we had a very good access into Muslim. So little bit of Urdu I managed. But companions who came with me from Tamil Nadu, because they did not know Hindi, we could not even go out and buy a sabun.
Okay.
How to say soap, sabun, you see. Whereas I had little sabun, sabun, I said, de dije also I couldn't say.
So in Tamil language, sabun is called what?
Soap. Yeah.
Okay. Sabun, I think sabun is Arabic word.
Arabic word,
which is popular in Hindi also and Urdu also. Yes.
So like that. But then I realized if I have to stay here, I will work hard to learn the language. Number one. Number two, I had my own teachers, gurus, my friends from here who helped me to. First they would laugh at what I am saying. Lots of hostels where I worked, villages where I worked, people would laugh in the beginning. Then they understood I need to learn the language, I don't know. Number two, I was interested in learning. So I started learning. Now I write in Hindi. That is the level I have. Food, I come from an ordinary background. It was not too much of an issue. But within 6 months I got adjusted to. I started speaking thoda in Hindi. So then once I got encouragement from people from here, then I learned, and now I am giving training in Hindi. Okay. I do training in Hindi, social analysis in Hindi much better than I do in English.
So sir, Bihar is generally said to be not a great place for the social sciences. It could have got a glorious past. But in recent decades, there has been degenerations. So how could you manage to learn the tools of social sciences? Because when we read your book, it is full of insight, and we get to know that what is happening on the ground, these things are reflected in your writing.
Number one, right from the beginning, I was village oriented.
Okay, village oriented.
I also came from a village.
Okay.
And here also I got associated mostly with the villages.
Okay.
Rarely I stayed in towns.
Okay.
Even as a student during the summer, I used to be mostly in Arwal, Jahanabad, Gaya, or Champaran, places like that, just being with the people. So that really initiated me into.
So you want to say that living with the people
was the best.
Seeing the things
life
on the ground,
exactly.
and the learning from the people are the best thing.
That is the best means through which I managed to get. Number two, when I came here, there used to be Dharma Yoga in Hindi magazine, and in that one of the main title was Bihar Kyun Jal Raha Hai. So I said, then I should understand. If I have to be here as a missionary or as a human being, I have to understand. इसलिए मैंने सोचा कि I need to go into. Then my contact. Then I could have taken any other subject. Then I said I will do social sciences, sociology in Patan University. Then for my masters I went to Delhi, where I picked up the tools of social. Doctorate I came back here. I had to work hard, but I did a very. Two things I always combined very well. Number one, the field reality, life of the people, as I call lives and struggles of the common 70% of people of Bihar has always been my passion, attracted me. Then I started reading, writing, speaking, and that helped me to both bring what is happening in the grassroots to a higher level, so that both in newspapers, in journals, in books I could write. So it is a life of the people who helped me. Then I concentrated in sociology, social sciences. I looked at concepts, I looked at methodology, theories, which helped me to do things. That's how I come to.
Sir, your PhD is on the Naxalite movement in Central India. So your background is from, let's say, religious places. How could you become interested in left politics, which is generally said, oh, they are atheist people, they are against religion?
I think two things. Number one, the whole Marxian philosophy to greater extent, on the one hand, derives from the laboring class. And 70-80% of any country, especially India, comes from that background. All of us are not Adanis, Ambanis and so on, who have millions and millions of dollars to spend on. So ordinary people on the one hand. On the other hand, Marxism itself drew strength from lots of biblical tradition, which talks about justice, equality, humanhood, and equality of women, men and women, and the poorest of the poor should get the priority of place in everything. So these 5-6 aspects from Christianity, from Bible, also influenced Marxism. Though Marx himself said religion has become the opium, but Engels, as you said, Engels said, no, I think the greatest thing.
I was reading the pamphlet of Engels where he is saying that Christianity has spread because of its revolutionary potential.
Potential, and also that potential that comes from a person who always mingled with the common people, ordinary masses, people who didn't have food, he was feeding them, people who are sick, he was trying to be with them, people who do not have anyone, children he would sit. A person like for which he paid with his life. So that motivated Marxism also, that anyone who wants to do social change, social transformation, also should follow in this line. So for me, one is coming from a very ordinary background, associating myself with ordinary people, the struggling masses of this country, and third, my own belief in the sense of Christ did this, I am also called. And fourth is very important. I was always influenced by this from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 7. जब जब दुनिया में अन्याय अंधकार अनैति है, मैं अपना विश्व रूप लेकर आता हूँ, मैं ट्रेनिंग, मैं बराबर इस बात को लाता हूँ. तो लेकिन आज कृष्ण भगवान आएंगे तो कोई उनको पहचानेंगे नहीं, पत्थर मारेंगे. हम हर कोई कृष्ण भगवान है, विश्व रूप लेने के लिए नहीं, परिस्थिति को बदल अन्याय अनैतिक.
So you want to say that when there is injustice, the opposition to that injustice is following the teaching of that particular section of Gita. So you follow it.
I follow that. I follow from Islam. I follow from Christianity. This is that way. The religions of this country also, not only Christianity, religions of this country also, because Islam also says it is not just worship that is alone, it is doing zakat.
And I have read Quran, and in Quran, worship, prayer to God is associated with doing charity, to the poor people. So you will get same sentence where both the things are clubbed together.
So and all religions in different words talk about it. Only we have tried to mismanage that.
If religions teach that worship is very much inseparable part of social service, why there is so much religious conflict and war and what should I say, communal tensions and then attack on minorities?
The most important thing is, let's go to a village in Bihar, anywhere in India. Christians, Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, if they are there, they all live in peace. Because they have to live together, work together. They are farmers, they are artisans, they are depend upon each other. it is only when any external force comes in here. What has happened over the years in this country is that a group of people who have kind of decided for themselves, we should use religion for political purposes. That means we should use religion to remain in power. Because from after the independence, even before that, after independence, especially with Baba Sahib Ambedkar and many other reformers of this country, everybody's name I can't take, but because of they wanted this caste-ridden, class-ridden, patriarchy-oriented, gender-biased structure should change. They wrote, they spoke, they worked, they formed organizations. But this caused lots of problem to the upper caste, upper class, male-dominated Indian society. A small segment of 10 to 15% were frightened that things will change, we will have no control. So they are using religion to pit one group of people.
So you want to say it that upper caste people who is minority, but who is monopolizing all the resources, they are using religion to pervert the whatever good things we have achieved in our constitution or maybe through our national struggle.
Yeah, exactly. Because they also want to do away with the constitution, because constitution only speaks about equality, fraternity and liberty. Freedom of people to do, live and practice whatever religion, and fraternity, all should live in peace and equality. There should not be any difference, no hierarchy.
Sir, when you are so much clear about the design of the Hindutva forces, why prominent members of your community, maybe they may be not very large, but okay, a section of them, at least in Goa and in Kerala, they are joining those forces who believe in inequality.
I have written, I have spoken also. For us, some of us, it is very clear. They have their vested interests. They have amassed wealth in the name of religion.
Amassed wealth.
Amassed wealth in the name of religion.
Jesus has said that charity should be done, service to poor should be done, but they are
amassed wealth in the name of religion, because Christianity came to those places early, education came along with Christianity, and because of education, employment came, and because of which they got all the resources. So because they have amassed wealth and they have power, with economic power, they have political power, they have religious power, they also have cultural power to determine whom the girl should get married and so on. So because of that,
and they are also proud of their caste identity.
Their caste identity and purity, they call it. Among the people of Kerala, religion itself, they call themselves pure Christians coming from Syria and so on. So that group of people scared. So they are afraid if they speak tomorrow, ED will visit them. Enforcement department, very clear. Enforcement department, I have nothing to lose in this. Enforcement. Because of that, they have aligned with this autocratic, authoritarian, exploitative and patriarchal dominated society
today.
If
you criticize those powerful people who belong to your own religion, don't you fear marginalization, further marginalization?
Some of us who live like this are already marginalized. There is nothing to be further marginalized.
And if I remember correctly, I think your article in EPW and somewhere else was also there, where you have said it very clearly that there is a caste structure in Christianity, and caste cannot be only limited to Hindu society also. So the Christian society should also take note of that.
Take note of it.
So did you face the wrath of those who are upper caste people that you are bringing bad name to Christianity?
Wherever I have spoken and written, I have spoken on their face also in so many places. The wrath is there. But I tell them, you called me this time, next time you may not even call me to speak, to write. That's immaterial. But I have communicated. At least some of us in the church are very clear, conscious, with which we are saying that this is utterly nonsense. If he said, all are children of God, and you are brothers and sisters, caste system goes fundamentally against Christianity. And to say that we are great, Hinduism only caste, and to say that among us there is nothing, that is total lie.
So sir, people like you are majority or minority?
We are a minority. We are a minority.
Minority.
Now. Yeah, that is expected everywhere. That is historical and sociological in nature. As a minority.
So you have to fight within the organization and outside also.
Yeah, I have always said that we have to fight within and outside. And for us, that is life, that is struggle. Because our fight is nothing, Abhayji, compared to the fight of the common man, no? Okay. For food, for shelter, for ideas, to think option. मेरे बच्चे को मैं कहाँ जाऊँगा, क्या पढ़ाऊँगा, क्या? So our fight is meaningful because we are associating with those people who are, whether it is Dalit Christian, Dalit Muslim, Dalit Hindu, whether it's a tribal, whether it's a minority, most backward caste, women of this country who are exploited. So our fight is aligning with them. Ours is nothing compared to them. But the only thing is, it is satisfying because we are not in line with those who are keeping the status quo.
Sir, I was reading your book on Father Sten Swami, and I congratulate you that within short span you have been able to produce this book, which is about the life of Father Sten Swami, his struggle, and you have also included the larger struggle, particularly in Adivasi area. So, and in that book you have said that the state is misusing power. So, are you really concerned that such things may increase in coming future, or what secular forces and democratic forces should do to check them?
Written in that, I elsewhere spoken, last 2 decades, this process has been there. An unchecked capitalism, religious fundamentalism, combined with the control of the corporate. These 3 aspects has been last from the time liberalism came into this. So opening the door for a small group of people to benefit. So what is happening is that this will increase because those who have tasted power, economic power, political power, educational power, cultural power, social power, will not give up. Religious power, they will not give up. They will try to do everything. One is to keep the system as it is, maintain status quo, so that no changes are introduced.
So what we can do, and
only thing, those I call it 2 terms. Conscious and committed Indian citizens have to come together under various platforms. It's not one platform, under innumerable platforms. We have our differences, but how do we come together to save the country, to save the constitution, to save the citizens of
Sir,
this country?
Dalits are being attacked, Adivasis are being attacked, backward classes are being attacked, religious minorities, Christian Muslims are being attacked, and common people are also facing problem every day due to price rise and anti-people policies. But why people are not coming together on, let's say, secular issues? Why there is so much divide?
See, this country is hugely divided. Caste, class, gender, religion, region, language. You see, other countries also are divided, but not as much as divided. Number 1. Number 2, over the decades, what we have done is, we allowed ourselves to be further divided by those who had vested interests. I think that's the second one. The third thing is, deep down in many of us, कोई दूसरा करेगा, मुझे क्यों करना है? इसी अगर भगत सिंह जन्म लेना है तो किसी और के घर में जन्म लेना.
My son, or I will become, let's say, IS officer. Somebody's son should become martyr. Okay.
I think this is what is very deep down. These 4 reasons are very strong, which does not bring us together. But that doesn't mean that it will be always the case. You look at Sri Lanka, a country where people Sinhalese fought against Tamils, Tamils fought against Muslims, Muslims fought against Hindus, Hindus fought against Buddhists. People are coming together because ultimately stomach and dignity, right? You see, food, shelter, clothing, along with the dignity and right, Indians will also rise up to overthrow not only this regime, any regime that is anti-poor, anti-people, anti-citizen, anti-constitution of this country.
Sir, last question. What are you doing? What are you planning to do in coming future? Your agenda, your strategy, your move?
Basically, I am trying to concentrate mostly now in Bihar. Trying to look at what has happened to Bihar social scenario. What has happened to its economic development?
And you said that the impact of COVID on.
That's with that special emphasis will be.
So you are doing research on this?
We are beginning a research on that. Field-based research. What is it? Because very little data is there. You see, very little data is there. But
and this state is sending large number of migrants to
other states. Our own hunch is out of 8 crore population, 1 crore migrates, or more than 1 crore migrates from here, and nobody is bothered. Those who are going to North India.
Your next work is to do a research on how the COVID pandemic and the failure of government to provide social security to migrants, mostly coming from Bihar, how their life have been negatively affected
and what needs to be done. Positively we should also say, if this is what it has affected, government, other agencies, civil society and society at large, what should be done. And even now people are migrating in a big way. What would happen to the women and their children, their education, their future? And those who are going there, at least they are getting something. And those who are here staying back, what are they having? So I think that's the other thing is we are also planning to train lots of youngsters from these marginalized communities into print media, electronic media and social media. So that how
because mainstream media is very less committed to social welfare
and doesn't cover any of these. How these youth, we have done it in the past and some of the youth are even till today. The many politicians are trying to buy them, but they are still sticking their neck and they are writing, speaking. And so some input to them, some training to them, and I think that is where
friends, if you want to do social research in India, Father Prakash Louis' work, articles, books are indispensable. And when I talk to Prakash Louis, I remember Karl Marx's thesis on fireback. That philosopher has interpreted the world, the time is to change
the world.
The meaning of Marx is, the message of Marx is that no academic work is complete and fruitful unless it has capacity to change the unequal structure of the society. Prakash Louis has worked hard, and his work, his writings, his speeches, his activism, his life teach us that society should be changed and peace, equality should be brought about. We have taken this interview at St. Xavier School of Management and Technology, which is in Patna on the bank of Ganges, near this Digha Ghat. Sir, thank you very much for talking.
Thank you very much, Abhay. Thank you.